Hey y'all, it's your girl Nellyville, and today I'm doing another video on RayJ. You know RayJ been in the news lately. Last week he had a lot of issues. He got online threatening Pastor Jamal Bryant for some interview he had did with him that he was afraid to get out, or that the video would be put out to the public with the interview. We was guessing that maybe he said some things in this interview that he didn't want anybody to see, and when he realized that this video would be released, he started threatening this pastor, telling him that he better not put this video out, such and such. And then after that, he got back online saying that somebody had been trying to attack him, shooting at him randomly, and he didn't know who it was. So it was just all over the place. Eventually, the pastor did end up putting the video out, Pastor Jamal Bryant. He put the video out, but it was edited. And I guess they had came to some type of agreement after apologizing to each other, or RayJ apologizing to him. They came to an agreement to take certain parts out of this interview so that it wouldn't be seen. And so the interview was put out. And if you've seen the interview like I did, I wanted to cover that story. But the interview didn't have any substance to it. It was all over the place, and it was like it wasn't nothing. I don't really even know what to call the interview. It was really weak, just put it like that. So it was nothing there. So we could only speculate what parts was taken out of that video. Well, as of today, well, I don't know when he did this, it was recent, but he was on NewsNation. He did an interview, and he's talking about Diddy, he's talking about Diddy's sons, and it seemed like he's changed his tune a whole lot compared to what it was last week and the week before. Because if you remember, a couple weeks ago, the story was out about Diddy's sons approaching RayJ at a Halloween get together, and they was approaching him as if they wanted to do something to him. And so now this week, 2 weeks later, he's singing a different tone, as if like somebody done got to him or something. So we're gonna watch this video, and we're gonna go through it and tell me what y'all think. And y'all know I'm gonna tell y'all what I think.
RayJ's take on the latest joins us now. Thank you very much for coming on short notice. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris. Always good to talk to you.
So RayJ, what is your take on the suggestion that Diddy is powerful enough that he can reach out, even if behind bars, like some kind of mob boss, and get people to tell people to shut up, or I'll pay you if you shut up, and be effective?
Look, I don't know how real that is. I think, you know, when you're in jail, I think you should also know how to move and not do stupid stuff like that. I think a lot of the stories are becoming out of control and super extreme. Again, you know, you start one way, and then as it builds, there's thousands of people coming in creating a new narrative. And when you do your research or your due diligence on it, a lot of it doesn't come back real. So now you're stuck in a position.
Okay, let's stop right there. There's no new narrative. The narrative that's out has been the same narrative that has been out since this story became huge. Nobody is changing it. It seems like you're trying to change the narrative, because everybody, for the most part, see it one way, because that's what's being put out. So there's no new narrative. It is what it is. With what is being put out allegedly. Everything in this video is alleged. Let me just say that. Everything is what it is. So nobody is creating anything. This story has so many parts to it. We don't have to create anything. This story is creating itself. It's turning into a huge snowball. And that's not something any influencer, creator, anybody is creating. It's creating itself. Let's just say that.
Position to go, is any of it real, or how much of it is real? And I think that's where we are now, because they just keep piling on and on and on, and now everybody's starting to feel weird about it, and starting to feel like it's all starting to look like it's one-sided against one man.
No, that's not true. The people are not creating and piling things on. These are things that are coming out. Nobody is creating that, RayJ. So at the end of the day, who got you saying this? Who has you saying that? Because you're the only person that I've heard so far that's trying to change the narrative. And if any of you guys have heard, I'm going to do a video on these guys that's coming to people's homes trying to get them to change the narrative, these content creators that is covering this Diddy story. There's 2 private investigators that's showing up at people's homes or content creators' homes, uninvited, trying to get them to change their narrative of what they're reporting about Diddy on their channels. And that has been on social media for the last couple of days. Even TMZ covered that story, showing these guys showing up at content creators' homes, unexpected, uninvited, offering to pay money for them to change their narrative on Diddy or find out who is paying them to say the things that they're saying. Nobody is being paid to say the things. Most content creators, in my opinion, I don't know. I only know what I do over here on the Nellyville show, and ain't nobody paid me nothing. Most content creators are reporting what's being put out in the news. It's public information. People is putting this stuff out. There's victims that's coming, alleged victims that are coming forward and giving their experience in this case. Things that they remember that happened. So nobody is changing the narrative. There's one narrative that I've seen so far, and more information is coming out with that same narrative, RayJ. So what are you talking about?
And people aren't liking it.
Who are the
Do you
people?
still believe that we're going to see a lot of bold-faced names get pulled into this because of their knowledge or their participation in what Diddy is accused of?
You know, I think that there might have been times where people have partied with a certain team of people and it might have been a freak off at that party, right? But I can guarantee you, most of the celebrities that's went to Diddy's parties never even heard of a freak off. So the freak offs in the beginning sounded really interesting, you know, and entertaining, I would say. But in this space now, when you look back, where were the freak offs? Everybody that's super legitimate, that's an A-list celebrity or whatever they say, you know, from my knowledge and just me knowing, I've never seen a freak off. What does that really mean? I mean, is that really real? Is this 50-50? Are we creating a new narrative for something that's not there?
Yeah, you look, I don't care what nobody say. RayJ, it's just really weird. Because I said, and I was saying this, that's the reason why I didn't say too much about that interview. Last week, it kind of seemed like RayJ was inserting himself in this case when nobody have said anything about you, RayJ. And it's real funny how one week you get into it with the Sons, the next week you have this interview that you blow out of proportion before it's even put out to the world. We knew nothing about it, and we didn't even have to know anything about it. The conflict that you had between yourself and Pastor Jamal Bryant could have been done in private, but you made it public to blow it up, to make people want to watch this interview, to find out what was so secretive that you didn't want people to know. And then now, this week, you're acting as if you're trying to change the narrative and defend something that you wasn't even in this story. Why are you inserting yourself? It's just real strange to me how RayJ is inserting himself in this story. Nobody else, if you notice, is trying to have their name even brought up in this at all. Nobody wants to be associated with this story in any way, form, or fashion. And for him to try to reverse this and make it seem like everybody else is changing the narrative, when in fact he is sitting here doing just that. And he's saying people is wondering why. Who is the people? Name some people that's wondering why this story is going the way it's going and this narrative is the way it is. Name the people who is questioning that, because I haven't heard anyone question that yet. You're the only person who is up here acting as if there's a narrative to be changed. It's really not. It is what it is. And why is what I question. Why are you inserting yourself into this, RayJ? When you was not brought up in this, nobody said anything about you. Is this something that you trying to had in advance? Or did somebody get to you to make you try to change the narrative or the way the public was viewing this story? Because it sounds really strange to me. I'm just saying. Because what would make you want to even be a part of this? Why would you even care? It has nothing to do with you, right? Just make you wonder.
Where was it really dope in the baby oil? I mean, what are we doing?
Right. What do you want people to know about the alleged altercation with you and Diddy's sons and your drive and your belief that somebody took a shot at you? Do you believe those are related? And did they change your disposition towards talking about this situation?
Well, when you live in LA, I think a lot of things are controlled in a lot of different ways, whether it's from the underground scene or from the political scene. But what I do know is that the people that did that to me, trying to work out something when you know who it is always the best plan, right? I've seen a lot of violence happen just because certain people wouldn't sit down and figure out, what can happen in a positive way as opposed to it going another route. So in that situation, we're doing everything we can to make sure that, things are super safe and that everybody can just live and enjoy life. And whether it's the truth, whether it's a lie, whatever it is, it stays on the front line. It doesn't go into something super violent. That's very important, moving forward.
Well,
and as far as, as far as
he is so all over the place with his answers. It's not direct answers. He's not answering the question. He's it's as if he's trying to avoid the question, but he's very direct on making sure that he feel the narrative has been changed and that the people that's speaking on Diddy is basically, trying to condemn him and put out this horrible narrative about him and making stuff up and piling stuff on as if we, the people, the public, have anything to do with this. This is an image that Diddy created for himself, allegedly. I don't know. And I really don't even care as much, you know what I'm saying? But my point is, nobody is doing that. This is stuff that's been brought out and it has nothing to do with us people. We only talking on things that's being put out by the media, the people, the alleged victims. So there's no narrative for us to change. He said, he answered that. He talked about that. He made sure he went into depth on that. But asking about, Diddy's sons, you wasn't direct on that. Asking about the alleged pow that happened last week, you're all over the place. So you know who did this all of a sudden?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. As far as what?
No, and then as far as Diddy's sons, it's been a lot. And I think at this point, we had to all sit down and we had to really figure out what this looks like and what we should do moving forward. And so we've worked out our differences. And I think that when we talked in the beginning, creating these mentorship programs and creating something new to help young entrepreneurs when they're falling by the wayside is...
So now you went from beefing with them last week to creating mentorship programs. Your tune changed a whole lot. This is not the same song. Honey, you was doing rap and in R&B last week, and now this week you done turned into country music. Make up your man, RayJ. Because you're looking real fishy out here.
Absolutely needed in these situations. I mean, if you even just look at me, sometimes you need certain guidance before you jump off the edge. And a lot of times that's happening in this space that we're in right now.
Hey, thanks for...
Okay, so that's the end of that video, you guys. To me, it was just strange how RayJ is constantly, every week is something new. He constantly in the mix. And it's strange because I don't see anybody else that's trying to put themselves in the mix with this story. Nobody is trying to do that. The ones who names are coming up, they don't even want their names in it, but they're coming up. But I haven't seen anybody say too much about you, RayJ. It's like you're constantly trying to insert yourself into this story. And it now seems that you're trying to create a narrative of your own that nobody else is backing you up on. As far as I know, I haven't seen anything like that. You saying that, people is creating a narrative. Who creating the narrative? The influencers, content creators, the news, the media, like what? Who? We only report what is being put out by the media. That's already out there. So it is what it is. What do you guys think? I just think it's really funny how RayJ is constantly changing his tune and he's inserting himself into this story. No one else is trying to insert themselves. No one else is trying to be involved. They don't want anything to do with this. They're actually being really quiet. And here come RayJ singing from the mountaintops. Because I thought something was funny last week when he created such a huge public spectacle over this interview. And then when you watch the interview was just weird and all over the place. And you could tell that, it was a lot of stuff that was talked about that didn't make sense because he was obviously answering questions or talking about something previously that we didn't hear. And so his answers didn't make sense. And it was just all over the place. It was just really, really weird. As I feel like he was trying to promote that video before they put it out. And then now this week he's singing a different tune. So I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. It's just really strange to me. And yeah, if I was him, I would leave it alone. But it seemed like RayJ, maybe somebody got to him to make him change his tune. Because creators have been reporting that somebody been trying to, a couple of people been trying to do that in the last few days. So did they find you? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. And thank you for watching. I am out.